What's up, everybody? This is another edition of The Dumbest Timeline. This week we have an awesome guest, Brandon Calder, one of my buddies, one of the original co-hosts of Geektastic Cypher all those years ago. And I hit him up because I was just like, Brandon, what is one of the things that makes you feel like we live in the dumbest timeline? Not the darkest one, the dumbest one. So what do you have for me this week?
So I have something that either your listeners are gonna hate or they're gonna love.
Okay.
I try to I love, first of all, I'm just gonna say quickly that I love the format of that. I love the concept of it too, because there's conversations that I have a lot, and there's a lot of things that I could have picked that just irk me, and things
Right.
I think that we do as humans that are very stupid.
Right.
But I legit, because I found an article and a video a while ago that I watched something, I was like, this is so interesting that it's more of, you're gonna learn today, okay? this is more of an education. I think it's actually, for me, I find it's actually the reason why we actually might live in the dumbest timeline, and there's a reason for it.
All right, so let's watch a small clip, folks. Once again, the dumbest timeline. Here we go.
One single scientist created 3 inventions that accidentally caused the deaths of millions of people, including himself. Not only that, they decreased the average intelligence of people all around the world, increased crime rates, and caused 2 completely separate environmental disasters that we are still dealing with today. In 1944, as a young chemist who had just finished his master's, Claire Patterson went to work on the Manhattan Project, building the first nuclear weapons. His job was to concentrate uranium-235, the fissile fuel for bombs, from the much more common uranium-238.
All right, so you want me to go into the spiel then?
Yeah, I mean, we live in the dumbest timeline, and if this man is one of the causes,
of reason why millions and millions of people still today are dumb. So you saw at the beginning there, the guy's name is Claire Patterson. He was a geochemist, and his job was to basically measure how old the Earth is.
Oh.
And by doing that, he would measure the amount of uranium to lead in these rocks, right? So he found that in some of the rocks that there was so much lead in it, and it didn't make sense for whatever reason for the world that we live in. It's how come there's so much lead in this? Because lead is actually a natural material, whatever it's called, natural chemical, in the earth. But there was so much lead in it. He was like, why is there so much lead in here? So it led him down this road of he became obsessed with lead, right? So okay.
Oh,
okay.
God. Already,
you know where this is going.
Yeah.
So it's funny, I wrote notes because I was so excited about this. So in 1908, there was an incident that happened where, because we used to have crank up cars. I don't know if you guys remember those things. Well, none of us do. We didn't live in that time.
Yeah, it was before our time, but the 19.
Yeah, exactly. So we had these cars that we would crank up in the front, and there was a woman on the side of a road who her car stopped. She was trying to crank and she couldn't crank. And so the guy pulled over. He's like, "I'll help you." And he started cranking, and the thing malfunctioned and hit him in the face, and he died. Okay, and this is the guy. Yeah, and this guy was actually the owner of the company that made that car. So at that point, they were like, we need to make automatic cars that start by themselves, right?
Right.
Okay, so there's a reason for all this. It's going to be a little bit, I'm going to try to shorten it.
Wait, hold on. The guy who was the president of the crank up car company saw someone on the side of the road, offered to help them crank their car, then got hit in the head by his own crank and died?
Yes.
You couldn't write something stupider.
Exactly.
So sad, but also insane. Okay,
it's so crazy. So one of his friends or whatever who else worked in the car company was like, yo, we need to stop making these crank up cars. They're killing people. So we need to make self-starting cars.
Right.
So the problem with self-starting cars, they were using, so if you ever heard of knocking, it's just basically that when like to start an engine, the chemical hits and there's a spark and then things blow up and then the engine starts, whatever.
Combustion.
The problem is that
Combustion, right?
the combustion, yeah, but they call it knocking for whatever reason.
Oh, interesting.
So that's the reason also why we have different fuels, right? Like we have different tiers of gas or whatever. When you go to the gas station, there's like, because some cars can't handle the amount of knocking that happens in the car, and it kind of fucks up the car. That's why you don't put diesel in a certain car, and that's why it screws it up, because of explosion. Okay. Some person who's a car person be like, I don't know if that's 100% right, but
I am not a car person.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
I'm fascinated, but I'm also just like, this sounds right. I hope believe
it. Yeah. I mean, I read about it very quickly, but I think that's the reason why is that the combustion that happens can fuck up your car.
Okay.
And your engine, right?
Right.
So Claire, being the dumbass that he is, was like, I have a chemical that can help with this, because the cars back then were having a hard time because the combustion was screwing up the engine. He's like, I have a chemical that we can use for these cars that will help after doing a few experiments, whatever. And that chemical was lead. Oh, so yeah, exactly. So even though in like 1786, Benjamin Franklin was like, hey, let's not use this shit. It's killing people. Yeah. This is 100 years before, because lead existed and they knew about it and whatever.
Right.
But
okay. That's something I wanted to ask, because when you said 1908, is that when this all started around?
1908 is like when so it's an incident that happened that led to them wanting to make self-starting cars.
Right. Okay. Because
lead was known about for hundreds of years before.
Yeah. I'm thinking in my head, I'm pretty sure they knew lead could poison people.
Yes.
Well before the 1900s.
Well before. Yeah, because they used to use lead. They use lead in they use it in household stuff. Yeah, and they were just
safe. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying how dumb this is.
Exactly.
Already you're describing a world in which we keep using things that we know should be used. Sorry.
Exactly. No, exactly. And that's just how dumb we are. And this is 100 years later. He's like, lead's fine. But he used lead and put it into, he called it ethanol. So it was lead and another chemical that they put together to use, that was the fuel for the cars, right? Okay. So even though even the people in MIT were like, he had been sending him letters being like, dude, don't we know this shit is killing people. Why are you using this? He's like, you know what? I'm not going to listen. And instead I'm going to partner up with massive companies like General Motors and start making gas for cars. And it was I don't know if it was a cheap chemical, but everyone started using it. They started using it for racing and everything. So millions of people started using this in their cars. And it got to the point where people were there's articles coming out saying that lead, was killing people. And he was like, no, it's fine. You know what, to prove that, I'm going to have a conference, and a massive conference. You guys come and I'm going to sniff this chemical lead for a minute and I'll be fine. So he does.
Oh my God.
So he comes and he's like, yeah, so whatever, this is my presentation. I'm going to sniff this. I'll be fine. Long and behold, he got fucking lead poisoning, but didn't tell him. So, yeah.
Man, this can't be real.
Dude, this is so real. This is so real.
Okay.
All right, but he didn't, obviously, because money's involved and a big company, he didn't tell anybody. He just stopped showing up to work. Okay. And he would no longer go to any of the plants, any of the factories. He never would go anywhere near them. People were like, what's up with him? It's because he had lead poisoning. He didn't die right away.
Yeah.
But he still he knew that it was, he was sick. Yeah. So here's why we actually might live in the dumbest timeline. So the way that lead attacks the body is that it attacks the body in a way that your body can't, because it mimics calcium. Mm-hmm. Your body is just it's fine. whatever's in here, this is just calcium, we're fine, but it stays in your body for a long time. And the part of your body that's more susceptible to lead is your brain.
Oh God, yeah.
So what happens is that lead it attacks your neural system.
Okay.
So it stops you from doing certain, like, it completely attacks your brain. So things happens where you can't you
The
have learned this.
neurological system of your mind
Exactly.
that helps send the signals is
Yeah.
being attacked and deteriorated and
Yeah.
fed and it thinks it's being fed with calcium,
Calcium.
something that it might need, but it's being fed with something like a poison.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
your body's doing nothing to fight it because your body's just like, nah, man, this is the good stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
that's cool. We need this stuff. We're good. Exactly. So they found out, doing a bunch of research, that lead, they found out through like research that lead is causing learning attacks your brain and you get dumb. Okay.
oh my God.
So they realized so they're doing research in 20th century Americans had 1,000 times more lead in their bodies than our ancestors, because they
I'm
study
sorry,
like
how much more?
1,000 times more. 1,000 times more lead than like our ancestors. They studied like people like mummies or whatever. They study through their teeth. It's because the lead gets into your teeth, and that's because of the calcium, whatever.
Yeah.
So not only does it like cause like intelligent issues or whatever it is, learning disabilities, it also makes people violent. So yeah.
La-di-da.
Yeah. So they did a study where the people who had the more percentage of lead in their system were more likely to fail out of high school. So all the high school dropouts, they did studies on them, and the ones who dropped out had more lead in their systems than the ones that were still in high school.
Whoa. Okay.
Yes.
That's
You
great.
see where I'm getting at now, huh?
Yeah. Like when I said I think we live in the dumbest timeline, and I think as a people we make dumb decisions, you took that literally and said,
yeah, I took it literally. That's what I said. That's what I was saying.
A man is struck by a crank on a car. Fast forward.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm like, I said that's why people are either gonna hate this one or they're gonna find it interesting, because I said like there's many things that I was like, this things that irk me, but this is actually a reason why, if one instance, like in our timeline, if someone didn't do this one thing, we might have been superhuman smart people.
Wow.
So I'll finish it up anyway. So like in 2015, they did another study where like 170 million people in the US were exposed to high levels of lead. So there's a certain level of lead that they say that it's okay in your body, but over 170 million people have it in their system.
Whoa.
And it's a problem because it starts off with kids. So then they're said that lead is the reason, like it's estimated to have caused a loss of more than 800 million IQ points.
Oh my God.
So, yeah. So, dude, I was so excited about, I found this thing. Anyway, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So anyway, so they also, one last thing, they also did a study where they took 400 kids who were incarcerated, and they found that all the kids who had been incarcerated had a high level of lead in their system.
Wow.
So anyway, so this man, even though like just for money purposes of putting lead into a thing, because he was like, we're gonna make so much money because I found the solution for cars for this knocking system, and let's team up and let's do that. And people are like, lead's bad, and he's like, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
So that decision might be the reason why billions of people on Earth are much stupider than they should be.
I love that you ran with the like actual fact.
I did. I did. I don't know if that's gonna be good for you, but yeah.
I mean, I like, because the idea has been on the show that we live in the dumbest timeline. I've asked people to give reasons. You had people, you know, Akeem explained that we live in the dumbest timeline because of people choosing to applaud someone who just physically assaulted another person with Will.
Yeah.
You had,
Yes.
you had Conspiracy with Angela. You had tabloids, and you had TikTok, and you had politicians with litter boxes. And then you came and said all of those things that happened potentially
and this is the
happened,
reason. Yeah.
potentially happened because this dumbass
Yeah.
Claire Patterson
Yeah.
decided, you know what, I'm gonna make a few bucks over here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Exactly.
poison everyone with lead.
Yeah. There you go.
Good.
And it kind of ties into other. There's many things that I would have talked about, and it kind of like that way of thinking also reminds me of like shit like cigarettes and alcohols, like things that we clearly know that are
full on
fucking us
poisoning.
up. We fully know it's on the package, but they're not but they're never gonna stop selling it because it makes money. And that is like, this is just like the beginning. I feel like that's just another way. That's just another, example of that. Yeah, of that.
Yeah, it really does, especially when you start to realize that they legalize, as my friends used to say, and I'm pretty sure he heard it from a song, but they legalize the lies and they punish the truth. So like they'll legalize cigarettes, they'll legalize alcohol, but they won't legalize, which I mean they finally did, but in many steps
Weed.
they decriminalized and then finally legalized weed. But that was like, that's a natural thing that grows, and they're just like, yeah, we can't control it. So until we can control it, we're gonna keep it as an illegal thing. And that, to me, that's another example of a dumb timeline where it's just like, here's a rat poison cigarette, like here's alcohol that will poison your system in excessive amounts. Here's an entire industry, these two major industries based almost entirely off of the profit of these things that are very dangerous for you. Also, that weed stuff over there that can help people, help anxiety, help healing, help chemo patients with their diet, with their sense of hunger. And here, these mushrooms over here that have been, we've done some research, and it helps people with like who are dealing with mental health issues. We're gonna make all of those illegal because, well, we don't know how to monetize or control it yet. So when we do figure that out, that's when we'll start legalizing these things so that we can make a profit from selling it to you.
Exactly.
And which again, so funny enough, your example of something that lost 800 million IQ points oh my God, is also tied into the idea that we are in the dumbest timeline, not just because of Claire Patterson's actions, but because of his greed.
Yes, 100%.
And that
is the basis of my. That is it. Exactly.
Everything you said is a phenomenal story and insane to think of, but it also comes down to
greed.
Greed.
Yes, 100%. There he is.
I'm so excited. That's such a great angle for why we live in the dumbest timeline. So this one, we potentially live in the dumbest timeline. This week, the hypothesis is greed, and I love that. That is,
I love it, and I love it, man. And like a little quick small antidote is that very quickly he didn't stop there, so he started he also teamed up with GM, started making fridges, and that was a big thing, right? So fridges started having lead in them, and that's the reason why our ozone layer got destroyed, until like a bill in Montreal happened that built, and they were like, yeah, no more, we're not doing that. So like it's just after all the death, after her getting sick and everyone dying and people getting dumb, they still continue using it, and it just comes down to greed. And I think that's, like you said, is the reason why we're in the dumbest timeline, because greed is just no matter. They all ties together.
Thank you so much. This one has been so much fun. Can I know Moving Mind Studio and you, I saw an announcement. You guys have something coming up soon. So for anyone who is watching this episode now or listening to this episode is recorded September 9th. So, this part here, we're going to be talking about something upcoming that is hopefully, later on we'll have
Oh yes.
another, you'll have more Moving Mind Studio events so that we can brag about all your
Yeah.
awesomeness.
Okay. So next Thursday, we're gonna be at Snowbird Tiki Bar, which is a really cool bar.
Thursday, September 15th.
Yeah, Thursday, September 15th. We're gonna be at Tiki Bar because we're showing. We did like a short film thing that's really funny. It's like a sketch, and we're just premiering it there. We showed it at Buffer Festival in Toronto, which is great, and which was tied up with Fan Expo, which is amazing.
Fan Expo is fantastic. I didn't realize.
Oh, dude.
So that was so. I used to go to Fan Expo every year.
I know. I was looking on your Instagram to see if you were there while I was there, but I figured if you were, I should have messaged you. But yeah, it was really cool, and it's funny is like Ryan was a celebrity over there. It was insane.
Oh, that's awesome.
But anyway, just if you come to Tiki Bar on Thursday, it's a really, really cool bar, and we're gonna be showing the short film there, and there's gonna be drinks named after the sketch that we did and stuff. And come and meet us and have fun and yeah,
awesome.
That's it.
And then also, where can people find your stuff on social media?
I'm so bad with social media, man. If for us, for Movie Mind Studio, literally it's just Movie Mind Studio on Instagram.
All right.
We're trying to get better with posting stuff. People are like, "Are you guys dead?" We're like, "No, we're just working. We're just working on stuff." You can also find me on Calder 52 on Instagram.
Cool.
And also check out Pillow Talk on Crave, which is a show that I directed. I mean, the first season now, the second season should be coming, I don't know, next few months, but go watch the first season. I did a little bit of writing on it too, a very small amount of writing on it. But
there you go.
I
was trying to nudge you into mentioning it. I know. I wasn't gonna do it. I wanted you to mention it.
Felt gross coming out of my mouth. But yeah, go check it out. It's a Crave original, and it's pretty funny, I think. I hope.
The art of self-promotion is important, my friend.
Yeah, I know. And I'm so bad at it.
Folks, I want to thank you for tuning into another edition of The Dumbest Timeline. And I think this is definitely one of the best examples. I'm very excited for people to check this one out. We'll be back with another one next week. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.